when people look back on 2025 and the launch of unsupervised full self-driving, true real-world AI that actually works, I think they may regard it as the biggest year in Tesla history.
In AI, I expect that this is going to be the year when a highly intelligent and personalized AI assistant reaches more than 1 billion people, and I expect Meta AI to be that leading AI assistant.
Enterprises are beginning to move from proof of concepts to enterprise-wide deployments to unlock the full ROI of AI. And our AI business has now surpassed an annual revenue run rate of $13 billion, up 175% year over year.
We're staying focused on maximizing volumes and obviously doubling down, or I was going to say doubling down on autonomy, but really like autonomy is like 10xing things, frankly. Doubling is not even enough. We made many critical investments in 2024 in manufacturing AI and robotics that will bear immense fruit in the future, immense. Like it's, in fact, to such a scale that it is difficult to comprehend. And I've said this before, and I'll stand by it. I see a path. I'm not saying it's an easy path, but I see a path to Tesla being the most valuable company in the world by far, not even close. Like there is a path where Tesla is worth more than the next top 5 companies combined. There's a path to that. I think it's like it's like a difficult path, but it is an achievable path. And that is overwhelmingly due to autonomous vehicles and autonomous humanoid robots. So our focus is actually building towards that. And that's what we're laying the ground. We laid the groundwork for that in 2024. We'll continue to lay the groundwork for that in 2025. But more than lay the groundwork, actually, so we'll be building the structure. We're building the manufacturing lines, setting up for what I think will be an epic 2026 and a ridiculous 27 and 28. Ridiculously good. That is my prediction. As yet, very few people understand the value of full self-driving and our ability to monetize the fleet. Some of these things I've said for quite a long time, and I know people have said, well, Elon's the boy who cried wolf like several times, but I'm telling you there's a damn wolf this time, and you can drive it. In fact, it can drive you. It's a self-driving wolf. For a lot of people, their experience of Tesla autonomy is like, if it's even a year old, if it's even 2 years old, it's like meeting someone when they're like a toddler and thinking that they're going to be a toddler forever. But obviously they're not going to be a toddler forever. They grow up. But if their last experience was like, oh, FSD was a toddler, it's like, well, it's grown up now. Have you seen it? It's like walks and talks. That's really what we've got. And it's difficult for people to understand this because human intuition is linear, as opposed to what we're seeing is exponential progress. That's why my number one recommendation for anyone who doubts is simply try it. Have you tried it? When's the last time you tried it? And the only people who are skeptical are those who have not tried it. So a passenger car typically has only about 10 hours of utility per week out of 168, a very small percentage. Once that car is autonomous, my rough estimate is that it is in use for at least a third of the hours of the week. So call it 50, maybe 55 hours of the week. And it can be used for both cargo delivery and people delivery. So even, let's say, people are asleep, but you can deliver packages in the middle of the night or resupply restaurants or whatever the case may be, whatever people need at all hours of the day or night. That same asset, the thing that is these things that already exist with no incremental cost change, just a software update, now have 5 times or more the utility than they currently have. I think this will be the largest asset value increase in human history. Maybe there's something bigger, but I just don't know what it is. And so people who look in the rearview mirror are looking for past precedent, except I don't think there is one. But like the reality of autonomy is upon us. And I repeat my advice: try driving the car, or let it drive you. So now it works very well in the US, but of course it will over time work just as well everywhere else. We're working hard to grow our annual volumes. Our constraint this year, our current constraint is battery packs this year, but we're working on addressing that constraint. And I think we will make progress in addressing that constraint. And then things are really going to go ballistic next year, and really ballistic in 27 and 28. A bit more on full self-driving. Our Q4 vehicle safety report shows continued year-over-year improvement in safety for vehicles. So the safety numbers, if somebody has supervised full self-driving turned on or not, the safety differences are gigantic. And people have seen the immense improvement with version 13 and with incremental versions in version 13. And then version 14 is going to be yet another step beyond that is very significant. We launched the Cortex training cluster at Gigafactory Austin, which was a significant contributor to FSD advancement. And we continue to invest in training infrastructure at our Texas headquarters. So the training needs for Optimus humanoid robot are probably at least ultimately 10x what's needed for the car, at least to get to the full range of useful roles. You can say, like, how many different roles are there for a humanoid robot versus a car? A humanoid robot has probably 1,000 times more uses and more complex things than in a car. That doesn't mean the training scales by 1,000, but it's probably 10x. Now you can do this progressively, so it doesn't mean like Tesla's going to spend like $500 billion in training compute, because we will obviously train to do enough tasks to match the output of Optimus robots. And obviously the cost of training is dropping dramatically with time. It is one of those things where I think long-term Optimus has the potential to be north of $10 trillion in revenue. Like, it's really bananas. So then you can obviously afford a lot of training compute in that situation. In fact, even $500 billion of training compute in that situation would be quite a good deal. The future is going to be incredibly different from the past, that's for sure. We live at this unbelievable inflection point in human history. The proof is in the pudding. So we're going to be launching unsupervised full self-driving as a paid service in Austin in June. I've talked with the team. We feel confident in being able to do an initial launch of unsupervised, no one in the car, full self-driving in Austin in June. We already have Teslas operating autonomously, unsupervised full self-driving at our factory in Fremont, and we'll soon be doing that at our factory in Texas. So thousands of cars every day are driving with no one in them at our Fremont factory in California. They will soon be doing that in Austin and then elsewhere in the world, the rest of our factories, which is pretty cool. And the cars aren't just driving to exactly the same spot, because obviously it all want to collide at the same spot. The cars are actually programmed with what lane they need to park into to be picked up for delivery. So they drive from the factory end of line to their destination parking spot, and to be picked up for delivery to customers. And they're doing this reliably every day, thousands of times a day. It's pretty cool. Like I said, the Teslas will be in the wild with no one in them in June in Austin. So what I'm saying is, this is not some far off mythical situation. It's literally 5 months away. While we're putting our toe in the water gently at first, just to make sure everything's cool, our solution is a generalized AI solution. It does not require high precision maps of a locality. So we just want to be cautious. It's not that it doesn't work beyond Austin. In fact, it does. We just want to put a toe in the water, make sure everything is okay, then put a few more toes in the water, then put a foot in the water, with safety of the general public and those in the car as our top priority. With regard to Optimus, obviously I'm making these revenue predictions that sound absolutely insane. I realize that, but I think they will prove to be accurate. Now, with Optimus, there's a lot of uncertainty on the exact timing, because it's not like a train arriving at the station for Optimus. We are designing the train and the station and in real time while also building the tracks. And so they're like, why didn't the train arrive exactly at 12:05? I'm like, We're literally designing the train and the tracks in the station in real time while you're sitting here like, how can we predict this thing with absolute precision? It's impossible. The normal internal plan calls for roughly 10,000 Optimus robots to be built this year. Will we succeed in building 10,000 exactly by the end of December this year? Probably not. But will we succeed in making several thousand? Yes, I think we will. Will those several thousand Optimus robots be doing useful things by the end of the year? Yes, I'm confident they will do useful things. The Optimus in use at the Tesla factories for production design 1 will inform what we change for production design 2, which we expect to launch next year. And our goal is to ramp Optimus production faster than maybe anything's ever been ramped, meaning like aspirationally an order of magnitude ramp per year. Now, if we aspire to an order of magnitude ramp per year, perhaps we only end up with a half order of magnitude per year. But that's the kind of growth that we're talking about. It doesn't take very many years before we're making 100 million of these things a year. If you go up by, let's say, a factor, by 5x per year. Insane. Not 50%, 500%. So big growth numbers. Yeah. But we do need to, this is an entirely new supply chain. It is entirely new technology. There's nothing off the shelf to use. We tried desperately with Optimus to use any existing motors, any sensors. Nothing worked for a humanoid robot at any price. We had to design everything from physics first principles to work for a humanoid robot. And with the most sophisticated hand that has ever been made before, by far. And Optimus will be able to play the piano and be able to thread a needle. I mean, this is the level of precision no one has been able to achieve. And so it's really something special. So, and my prediction long term is that Optimus will be overwhelmingly the value of the company. So, in conclusion, 2025 really is a pivotal year for Tesla. And when Joe look back on 2025 and the launch of unsupervised full self-driving, true real-world AI that actually works, I think they may regard it as the biggest year in Tesla history, maybe even bigger than our first car, the Roadster, or the Model S, or the Model 3, or Model Y. In fact, I think it probably will be viewed 25 as maybe the most important year in Tesla's history. There is no company in the world that is as good at real-world AI as Tesla. I don't even know who's in second place. You say, who's in second place for real-world AI? I would need a very big telescope to see them. That's how far behind they are. Obviously, humans drive without shooting lasers out of their eyes, unless you're Superman. Humans drive with eyes and a neural net and a brain neural net. So sort of biological, so the digital equivalent of eyes and a brain are cameras and digital neural nets, or AI. So that's the entire road system was designed for passive optical neural nets. That's how the whole road system was not designed, and what everyone is expecting that's how we expect other cars to behave. So therefore, that is very obviously the solution for full self-driving as a generalized solution for full self-driving, as opposed to the very specific, neighborhood by neighborhood solution, which is very difficult to maintain, which is what our competitors are doing.
So I keep telling our teams that this is going to be intense because we have about 48 weeks to get on the trajectory that we want to be on. In AI, I expect that this is going to be the year when a highly intelligent and personalized AI assistant reaches more than 1 billion people, and I expect Meta AI to be that leading AI assistant. Meta AI is already used by more people than any other assistant, and once a service reaches that kind of scale, it usually develops a durable long-term advantage. We have a really exciting roadmap for this year with a unique vision focused on personalization. We believe that people don't all want to use the same AI. People want their AI to be personalized to their context, their interests, their personality, their culture, and how they think about the world. I don't think that there's just going to be one big AI that everyone uses that does the same thing. People are going to get to choose how their AI works and what it looks like for them. I continue to think that this is going to be one of the most transformative products that we've made. And we have some fun surprises that I think people are going to like this year. I think this will very well be the year when Llama and open source become the most advanced and widely used AI models as well. AI engineering agent that has coding and problem-solving abilities of around a good mid-level engineer. And this is going to be a profound milestone and potentially one of the most important innovations in history, as well as over time potentially a very large market. Whichever company builds this first, I think is going to have a meaningful advantage in deploying it to advance their AI research and shape the field. So that's another reason why I think that this year is going to set the course for the future. Our Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses are a real hit, and this will be the year when we understand the trajectory for AI glasses as a category. Many breakout products in the history of consumer electronics have sold 5 to 10 million units in their third generation. This will be a defining year that determines if we're on a path towards many hundreds of millions and eventually billions of AI glasses, and glasses being the next computing platform like we've been talking about for some time, or if this is just going to be a longer grind. But it's great overall to see people recognizing that these glasses are the perfect form factor for AI, as well as just great stylish glasses. These are all big investments, especially the hundreds of billions of dollars that we will invest in AI infrastructure over the long term. I announced last week that we expect to bring online almost a gigawatt of capacity this year, and we're building a 2 gigawatt and potentially bigger AI data center that is so big that it'll cover a significant part of Manhattan. I think that this is the most exciting and dynamic that I have ever seen our industry. Between AI, glasses, massive infrastructure projects, doing a bunch of work to try to accelerate our business and building the future of social media.
Finally, Meta AI usage continues to scale with more than 700 million monthly actives. We're now introducing updates that will enable Meta AI to deliver more personalized and relevant responses by remembering certain details from people's prior queries and considering what they engage with on Facebook and Instagram to develop better intuition for their interests and preferences. There has been significant early adoption of our first video generation tool that we rolled out in October, image animation, with hundreds of thousands of advertisers already using it monthly. On the first, we expect compute will be central to many of the opportunities we're pursuing as we advance the capabilities of Llama, drive increased usage of generative AI products and features across our platform, and fuel core ads and organic engagement initiatives. We're working to meet the growing capacity needs for these services by both scaling our infrastructure footprint and increasing the efficiency of our workloads. Another way we're pursuing efficiencies is by extending the useful lives of our servers and associated networking equipment. Our expectation going forward is that we'll be able to use both our non-AI and AI servers for a longer period of time before replacing them, which we estimate will be approximately 5.5 years.
Meta AI as a highly intelligent and personalized assistant that you can access across our apps. There's a website, you can access it outside of our apps too. I think that the quality of this is just, it's going to keep on improving and improved a lot over the last year. We're also finding more ways that it's useful to integrate it into our services to help more people discover it. I think that that's undoubtedly why so many hundreds of millions of people are using it today, is because it's kind of easy to discover what we're doing and then keep using it. It's Meta AI. I do expect Llama 4 to be a very exciting set of releases. It's not just one thing. They're just like with Llama 3, there were kind of a few different models at different dates. I think we'll see that with Llama 4 too. And then the AI engineer piece, I'm really excited about. I mean, I don't know that that's going to be an external product anytime soon, but I think for what we're working on, our goal is to advance AI research and advance our own development internally. And I think it's just going to be a very profound thing. So, I mean, that's something that I think will show up through making our products better over time. But yeah, and then as that works, there will potentially be a market opportunity down the road. But I mean, for now, in this year, we're really, I think I don't think you're going to see this year like an AI engineer that is extremely widely deployed, changing all of development. Yeah, I mean, I can talk about glasses. I mean, I've said for a while that I think that glasses are the ideal form factor for an AI device because you can let an AI assistant on your glasses see what you see and hear what you hear, which gives it the context to be able to understand, everything that's going on in your life that you would want to talk to it about and get context on. Now, I think it's pretty clear that AI is actually going to drive at least as much of the value as the holographic AR is. So that's a cause to be excited. But Ray-Ban Metas were a hit. We still don't know what the long-term trajectory for this is going to be. And I think we're going to learn a lot this year.
Susan, on Meta AI, I know people are pretty excited about the use case, but also thinking about the revenue case. How do you think about monetizing that? Could it be CPC ads or how are you thinking about that? Thank you.
On your second question, in terms of monetizing Meta AI, our initial focus for Meta AI is really about building a great consumer experience. And that's frankly where all of our, energies are kind of directed to right now. There will, I think, be, pretty clear monetization opportunities here over time, including paid recommendations and including a premium offering, but that's, really not where we are focused in terms of the development of Meta AI today. And as we look forward to 2025 in our Meta AI roadmap, we are really focused on doing more to make it feel more personalized. So that I would say some of the most exciting features we're working on, including improving sort of the memory dimension of the Meta AI experience, where it will be able to remember certain details that people share in one-on-one chats, for example, and use those details to personalize its responses. And then, really increasing its ability to deliver great content recommendations and enhance really what makes Facebook and Instagram so valuable for people today.
Yeah, one for Mark on agents. So we all saw OpenAI's operator demo last week. So Mark, as the industry moves from chat to agentic behavior and more commercial intent moves into these AI products, I guess, how are you thinking about monetization potential for Meta AI? And then how might Llama 4 reasoning help drive some of these new agentic experiences for Meta AI? Thank you.
So the thing that I think is going to be meaningful this year is the kind of getting of the AI products to scale. Last year was sort of the introduction and starting to get it to be used. This year, my kind of expectation and hope is that we will be at a sufficient scale and have a sufficient kind of flywheel of people using it and an improvement from that this will have a durable advantage. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be a major contributor to the business this year. This year, the improvements to the business are going to be taking the AI methods and applying them to advertising and recommendations and feeds and things like that. So the actual business opportunity for Meta AI and AI Studio and business agents and people interacting with these AIs remains outside of 25 for the most part. And I think that that's an important thing for us to communicate and for people to internalize as you're thinking about our prospects here.
Enterprises are beginning to move from proof of concepts to enterprise-wide deployments to unlock the full ROI of AI. And our AI business has now surpassed an annual revenue run rate of $13 billion, up 175% year over year. Before I get into the details of the quarter, I want to comment on the core thesis behind our approach to how we manage our fleet and how we allocate our capital to compute. AI scaling laws are continuing to compound across both pre-training and inference time compute. We ourselves have been seeing significant efficiency gains in both training and inference for years now. On inference, we have typically seen more than 2x price performance gain for every hardware generation and more than 10x for every model generation due to software optimization. And as AI becomes more efficient and accessible, we will see exponentially more demand. Therefore, much as we have done with the commercial cloud, we are focused on continuously scaling our fleet globally and maintaining the right balance across training and inference, as well as geo-distribution. From now on, it's a more continuous cycle governed by both revenue growth and capability growth, thanks to the compounding effects of software-driven AI scaling laws and Moore's law. With that, I will walk through the progress we are making across every layer of the tech stack. Azure is the infrastructure layer for AI. We continue to expand our data center capacity in line with both near-term and long-term demand signals. We have more than doubled our overall data center capacity in the last 3 years, and we have added more capacity last year than any other year in our history. Our data centers, networks, racks, and silicon are all coming together as a complete system to drive new efficiencies to power both the cloud workloads of today and the next generation AI workloads. We continue to take advantage of Moore's law and refresh our fleet as evidenced by our support of the latest from AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, as well as our first-party silicon innovation from Maya, Cobalt, Boost, and HSM. Beyond Fabric, we are seeing new AI-driven data patterns emerge. If you look underneath ChatGPT or Copilot or enterprise AI apps, you see the growth of raw storage, database services, and app platform services as these workloads scale. The number of Azure OpenAI apps running on Azure databases and Azure App Services more than doubled year over year, driving significant growth in adoption across SQL Hyperscale and Cosmos DB. Now on to AI platform and tools. As we shared last week, we are thrilled OpenAI has made a new large Azure commitment. Through our strategic partnership, we continue to benefit mutually from each other's growth. And with OpenAI's APIs exclusively running on Azure, customers can count on us to get access to the world's leading models. And OpenAI has a lot more coming soon, so stay tuned. Azure AI Foundry features best-in-class tooling, runtimes to build agents, multi-agent apps, AI ops, API access to thousands of models. 2 months in, we already have more than 200,000 monthly active users, and we are well positioned with our support of both OpenAI's leading models and the best selection of open source models and SLMs. DeepSeek's R1 launched today via the model catalog on Foundry and GitHub with automated red teaming, content safety integration, and security scanning. Our 5 family of SLMs has now been downloaded over 20 million times. And we also have more than 30 models from partners like Bayer, Page AI, Rockwell Automation, Siemens to address industry-specific use cases. With AI, how we build, deploy, and maintain code is fundamentally changing. And GitHub Copilot is increasingly the tool of choice for both digital natives like ASOS and Spotify, as well as world's largest enterprises like HP, HSBC, and KPMG. We've been delighted by the early response to GitHub Copilot in VS Code with more than 1 million signups in just the first week post-launch. All up, GitHub now is home to 150 million developers, up 50% over the past 2 years. Now on to the future of work. Microsoft 365 Copilot is the UI for AI. It helps supercharge employee productivity and provides access to a swarm of intelligent agents to streamline employee workflow. We are seeing accelerated customer adoption across all deal sizes as we win new Microsoft 365 Copilot customers and see the majority of existing enterprise customers come back to purchase more seats. When you look at customers who purchased Copilot during the first quarter of availability, they have expanded their seats collectively by more than 10x over the past 18 months. To share just one example, Novartis has added thousands of seats each quarter over the past year and now have 40,000 seats. Barclays, Carrier Group, Pearson, and University of Miami all purchased 10,000 or more seats this quarter. And overall, the number of people who use Copilot daily again more than doubled quarter over quarter. Employees are also engaging with Copilot more than ever. Usage intensity increased more than 60% quarter over quarter. And we are expanding our TAM with Copilot Chat, which was announced earlier this month. Copilot Chat, along with Copilot Studio, is now available to every employee to start using agents right in the flow of work. With Copilot Studio, we're making it as simple to build an agent as it is to create an Excel spreadsheet. More than 160,000 organizations have already used Copilot Studio, and they collectively created more than 400,000 custom agents in the last 3 months alone, up over 2x quarter over quarter. We've also introduced our own first-party agents to facilitate meetings, manage projects, resolve common HR and IT queries, and access SharePoint data. And we also continue to see partners like Adobe, SAP, ServiceNow, and Workday build their third-party agents and integrate with Copilot. What is driving Copilot as the UI for AI, as well as our momentum with agents, is our rich data cloud, which is the world's largest source of organizational knowledge. Billions of emails, documents, and chats, hundreds of millions of Teams meetings, and millions of SharePoint sites are added each day. This is the enterprise knowledge cloud. It is growing fast, up over 25% year over year. More broadly, what we are seeing is Copilot plus agents disrupting business applications. And we are leaning into this. With Dynamics 365, we took share as organizations like Ecolab, Lenovo, RTX, Total Energies, and Visent switched to our AI-powered apps from legacy providers. In healthcare, DAX Copilot surpassed 2 million monthly physician patient encounters, up 54% quarter over quarter. It is being used by top providers like Mass General Brigham, Michigan Medicine, Vanderbilt University Medical Center to increase productivity of their physicians.
In closing, we are committed to delivering real-world AI solutions that help customers grow and improve their results. We are confident in our leadership position as we grow with our customers.
I think everyone would love your thoughts on what you're seeing there. And are we seeing AI scale now at lower costs? Are we reaching a mark where you can see that, or do we still have some time to go? Thanks for your thoughts on this.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. So yeah, in my remarks, I talked about how, in some sense, what's happening with AI is no different than what was happening with the regular compute cycle. It's always about bending the curve and then putting more points up the curve. So there's Moore's law that's working and hyperdrive. Then on top of that, there is the AI scaling laws, both the pre-training and the inference time compute that compound, and that's all software. You should think of what I said in my remarks, which we have observed for a while, which is 10x on improvement per cycle just because of all the software optimizations on inference. And so that's what you see. And then to that, I think DeepSeek has had some real innovations.
I wanted to ask you about the Stargate news and the announced changes in the OpenAI relationship last week. It seems that most of your investors have interpreted this as Microsoft for sure remaining very committed to OpenAI's success, but electing to take more of a back seat in terms of funding OpenAI's future training CapEx needs. I was hoping you might frame your strategic decision here around Stargate and Amy, whether there's any takeaway for investors from that decision in terms of how you're thinking about CapEx needs over the next several years.
Think about that as the building itself, data centers, but also some of the catch up we need to do on the commercial cloud side. And then you'll see the pivot to more CPU and GPU. And that pivot will more directly correlate to revenue. And it'll be contracted either with the partnership that you asked about with OpenAI or with others. And so I do think the way I want everyone to internalize it is that the CapEx growth is going through that cycle pivot, which is far more correlated to customer contract delivery, no matter who the end customer is.